Imagine strolling through the streets of ancient Rome. Picture the grand temples, the scent of burning incense, and the soft murmur of people offering prayers to the gods. For the Romans, spirituality was an ever-present force. Whether in the home or at the highest echelons of power, their spiritual beliefs were intertwined with daily life. Today, we're delving into the spiritual practices of ancient Rome to uncover how these rituals, ceremonies, and beliefs not only influenced their empire, but also shaped their understanding of the world. Spirituality in ancient Rome started at home. Every Roman family had a lararium, a household altar dedicated to the gods and spirits that protected the home and family. The lares and penates, guardian spirits of the household and storeroom, were honored with small offerings of food, wine, or incense. Each day, families would gather to pay their respects, seeking the gods' blessings for health, prosperity, and protection. If you think about it, it's not so different from many of our own daily routines. Whether it's a prayer before a meal, a quick moment of gratitude in the morning, or lighting a candle to create a peaceful atmosphere. These simple acts help us feel connected to something greater, just as they did for the Romans thousands of years ago. While personal devotion was important, public rituals were at the heart of Roman spirituality. The success of Rome, their victories in battle, the health of their crops, even the weather, was believed to depend on the favor of the gods. If the gods were happy, all was well. But if they were angry, disaster could follow. Public ceremonies, led by priests and officials, were elaborate affairs. Animal sacrifices, prayers, and libations were offered to gods like Jupiter, Mars, and Juno. These rituals were designed to maintain Pax Deorum, the peace of the gods. As long as the gods were kept in balance, Rome would continue to thrive. In many ways, these public rituals feel a bit like modern-day sports events or concerts. We gather as a community, participating in something larger than ourselves. Whether we're praying for victory on the battlefield or for our team to win the championship, the sense of unity and hope is universal. Not all Roman spiritual practices were conducted out in the open. By the time the empire expanded, many Romans felt the traditional gods didn't offer the personal connection they longed for. This gave rise to the mystery religions, exclusive, secretive cults that promised deeper spiritual understanding and often the hope of an afterlife. The cult of Mithras was one of the most famous. Primarily followed by soldiers, it involved initiations and symbolic meals in secret underground temples. The devotees believed that by joining the cult, they would be granted special protection and even salvation after death. Many people still seek personal spiritual experiences through retreats, meditation, or other forms of private worship. It's a reminder that while the gods and the names have changed, the human desire for personal spiritual connection remains timeless. But how did the Romans know what the gods wanted? They didn't just guess. They looked to the heavens, literally. Augury, the practice of interpreting omens from the behavior of birds, was one of the most respected forms of divination in ancient Rome. Augurs would watch the way birds flew, the direction they came from, even the sounds they made. These signs were believed to reveal the gods' will, particularly in matters of state. Should we go to war? Should a new law be passed? Augurs held incredible power, as their interpretations could change the course of Roman history. Today, we may not rely on bird flights to make decisions, but many of us still look for signs. Whether it's astrology, tarot, or simply listening to our gut instincts, the idea of seeking guidance from the universe is as old as civilization itself. One of the most fascinating aspects of Roman spirituality was the belief that emperors could become gods. This wasn't just reserved for mythological figures. Actual Roman leaders, upon their deaths, and sometimes even during their lifetimes, were deified, given temples, and worshipped as divine beings. Augustus, the first emperor of Rome, was officially deified after his death. He was worshipped as Divus Augustus, the standard for future rulers. This wasn't just a sign of respect, it was a political statement. By becoming gods, emperors reinforced their absolute power, blending religion and governance in a way that made their rule unquestionable. While we may not deify our leaders today, there's still a sense of reverence for certain figures who are seen as larger than life. Whether it's a charismatic leader, a beloved celebrity, or an influential thinker, the line between admiration and near worship can sometimes blur. So, what happened to these spiritual practices? Over time, as Christianity spread throughout the Roman Empire, many of the old gods were forgotten, and the temples fell to ruin. But the influence of Roman spirituality is still with us today. Early Christian rituals, the structure of religious authority, and even the use of incense and altars were influenced by Roman traditions. Whether through personal rituals at home or grand public ceremonies, the Romans understood the importance of spirituality in creating a sense of community, purpose, and connection to the divine. And in our modern world, we're still searching for that same connection, whether through prayer, meditation, or moments of quiet reflection. The spiritual practices of ancient Rome remind us that, at our core, we are all seeking the same things: protection, guidance, and understanding. The gods of ancient Rome may have faded into history, but the echoes of their rituals still resonate in our lives today. Perhaps in their stories and practices, we find a reflection of our own search for meaning. Thank you for watching. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe for more journeys into the ancient world.